Why do sportsbooks always win? Or really, that's the general consensus when you talk about sports betting or casinos. The house is always going to win in the long term. Now, realistically, that's almost true. 97% of sports bettors are losers in the long term. But that does leave 3% of sports bettors that are profitable using certain strategies to essentially flip that edge that sportsbooks have on its head, where you're getting the edge instead. And I get it, it sounds too good to be true, but with the tools that are in place and out there in the world right now, literally any Joe Schmo right here, I've been a profitable sports bettor for 2+ years. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. It's literally as easy as going to a page, looking at the profitable bets using certain tools, and clicking the right bets and understanding it a little bit. So all those buzzwords, positive EV, it's not really a buzzword. People probably think it is. It actually is a verified and documented case of being a profitable strategy. Arbitrage, liquidity, all these things that might go over your head a little bit. I'm going to break it down to its bare bones, show you exactly what I do on my screen, and show you how profitable and easy really this is, to the point that you can watch this video and then literally just go do exactly what I do in this video, and you're going to be a profitable sports bettor over the long term because the math is going to work itself out. You're getting inefficiencies in the markets and taking advantage of it, and it's going to be awesome. So stay with me. I'm not going to try to lose anyone with crazy market terms, liquidity, arbitrage, positive EV. Those are all true things, but I really want to break it down to the bare bones of how do sportsbooks always win? How can we flip that on its edge? And how do we actually be profitable sports bettors? So to start from the very beginning, we have to understand how these odds work and how are they getting an unfair advantage. Sure, it's easy to say that the sportsbooks have an unfair advantage. What is the unfair advantage that they're getting? And I think this Woody Marks receptions line, not the sexiest line in the world, I probably could have found a better one, but this was the first line I found that there was no lean in the market. So BetMGM has this Woody Marks line at -115 on the over 2.5 receptions, -115 on the under 2.5 receptions. Now, essentially, they're saying this is a 50-50 line. We don't know if it's going to go over or under. There's no lean in our market. We're giving you the same odds on the over and the under. Now, how's that fair? Because it's a 50-50 market. You'd think that, 50-50 chance, it should be a +100 return. If I bet $100, I should either win my $100 on the bet if it wins or lose my $100 if it loses. That would be true odds of 50-50. But that's not how it works. That's the unfair advantage that sportsbooks have. When you sign on for BetMGM, you're allowed to bet on their platform, and they're going to take that house edge. That's the edge that they're getting. So now that we understand that in the eyes of BetMGM, this is a 50-50 line, yet we're getting different odds, we can come over to BetMGM, pretend to place the bet. Let's say we put $100 on this Woody Marks line, and you can see the total payout here is going to be $186.96. So we'd only profit $86.96 on a line that they're saying is 50-50, but we're not getting the profits of a 50-50. That's where they're making their money. So to finally drive home this point, let's go to the implied odds calculator on OddsJam. I know, sounds scary, but it's very, very simple when you think about it. BetMGM was giving us a line where the over and the under were the same. It was a fixed market. It was -115 on the over. It was -115 on the under. They were saying essentially it was a 50-50 line, but they weren't paying us that way. They were giving us -115 on the over, -115 on the under, essentially saying, in order for you to be profitable, you have to win this bet 53.49% of the time, even though we're saying it's a 50-50 chance. So that's where they're making their money. They're working off a 3.49% edge. Over the course of thousands and even millions of bets placed on a BetMGM, they're getting this little edge. They're going to be pretty profitable in the long term here. So again, that's that tiny edge that they're working off of. That's how they're a billion-dollar company. And also, it's very cool. We can use math and all the different data points out there, what OddsJam points out for us, to the point that we can actually get an edge like this. And over the course of hundreds of bets, thousands of bets, we're going to be profitable too. So that was a great example of a negative expected value bet for us and a positive expected value for BetMGM, the book. They had a 3.5% edge over us. We're not going to be winning like that. How do we find plays that we can take advantage of positive expected value at our fingertips at any given time? That's what we're going to talk about OddsJam. And right today is Friday, October 3rd. The only things that are going on right now are the WNBA Finals, Game 1. That should be a good one. And I think there's an NBA preseason game. But there's no football today, no playoff baseball today, no hockey today. So there's not much going on. And I'm still going to show you that there's a lot of expected value that we can take advantage of and start getting very, very good bets in very, very quickly. So hopping into OddsJam's positive EV tool, this makes it literally seamless. You can see all of the best plays at your fingertips for any book that you're looking at any given time right away. So not kidding, it's that easy. So first off, I want to show you that why are these books showing up? Well, it's because I have these ones filtered in. You can go and filter, say, hey, I want FanDuel, DraftKings, Fliff, BetMGM, ESPN Bet. The more books you're on, the more expected value you're going to see, the more value you're going to be able to bet. I always recommend being on as many sports books as possible. Not only do they give you sign-up bonuses where you can take advantage of that, but just gives you more opportunities to bet on more things with the edge that we're looking for. So these are the 5 books that I have in right now. They're available in my state, so I wanted to show those. So let's go ahead and refresh the page and see how powerful this tool actually is. And we can see that the top play on the board right now with the books that I have in play is going to be this tennis play. And this is actually a great example because there's not a lot going on. Either I could find a football bet for us right now if we wanted to, but I don't even really know much about tennis, and this is still a great play that I don't even have to know about in order to get a positive edge on here. So positive EV tool is saying 3.69% positive expected value on this play. If you're asking why, that's a good question to ask. And we can see that they want us to bet this play minus 120 on DraftKings, and it's giving it a probability of happening, true odds. They're saying that according to all these million different data points, hundreds of different books, the true odds that OddsJam is getting this to is 56.6% chance to happen. And again, DraftKings is giving us a minus 120 available on this line. So if we go back to our implied odds calculator we used at the beginning of the video, we can see that minus 120, the probability that we have to try to beat is 54.55. Well, this play right here has a 56.6% chance of happening, and we're getting implied odds of minus 120, which we just saw is 54.55% chance of happening. So we're getting positive expected value right there. It's doing the math behind the scenes for us, but it's pointing out a line that's saying, this is more likely to happen than the odds that you're getting. That's a profitable bet in the long term. If you want to just think about it even more naturally, you can see that all these other sports books have this at a worse odds line. So DraftKings at minus 120 is out of sync of the market. Pretty much every other book is around minus 140, minus 145, and you can take into account even a little bit more these sharper sports books like Pinnacle, they're at minus 140. Novig and ProfitX, which are peer-to-peer exchanges, very, very sharp books, sharper than DraftKings, sharper than FanDuel. You can see that they're also at minus 152, minus 145. So in terms of the market value, DraftKings is completely out of sync of the market, and enough to the point that the implied probability of it happening are worse than the actual probability, the true probability of it happening, and that's what we're looking for. So I know that might have been confusing for a few people, but essentially what you're looking for is, the probability, the true probability of this happening is higher than the implied probability that you're getting from the sports book. And you don't even need to do those calculations. All that is done. That's just if you want to understand the concept of positive EV and where they're getting these numbers, but it's really awesome. Again, I don't even know much about tennis, but I'm going to go in here, I'm going to click bet, which is the one-click bet over on OddsJam. I can go in here, told me to bet $20, recheck my location, literally doing this on the fly. I don't know why they had to check my location every 5 seconds. Place that for $20, and now I just placed a very positive expected value bet on something I didn't even know about, tennis play that I don't really know anything about, and I know, positively that I have a great edge on this play, and I can feel good about the bet. And it's really that easy. So we just made the bet over on DraftKings. We come back, we go, click refresh. Now we're seeing a positive EV play of 5.29%. We can come in here, we see, okay, every other sports book, this is the only book that's giving us plus money. Every other sports book, this is a heavy favorite on the over 21.5 games. This could be another great bet. You just go click bet and keep placing your bets. The more bets you place, the more consistent profits you'll see day to day. That does not mean every single bet you place is going to win. I want to say that right now. You can't come in here and say, I placed 4 bets and they all lost. That's going to happen sometimes. When you bet 20 bets, that's when you're going to start seeing profits. When you bet hundreds, thousands of bets over the course of a year, that's when you're going to see the profits start to pile up. So I don't want to see any comments saying, hey, I used it and my first 5 bets lost. Well, you got to place more bets, and that's when you start getting the edges. A lot of these plays are plus money plays as well, and you don't have to shy away from those. You put your unit size or your bankroll into OddsJam so it knows exactly what you should be betting on these plays. So here's a plus 185 play. You only want to put $10 on that, whereas you're getting a minus 120 play. Maybe you're throwing $30 on that. So it's very, very seamless, very, very simple. And guess what? That's just one tool that OddsJam has. That's the positive EV tool. Arbitrage, I'm not going to go into today. Maybe I'll make another video on it. That is not even joking, risk-free profit. You bet a side on one sports book, another side on another sports book, and you guarantee yourself a profit. That's not a gimmick. That is an actual true fact. You can do that. And then the coolest thing that I think that they just did, they just dropped a new tool called Sharp Money, which essentially brings together arbitrage, positive expected value, and then also indicators from Sharp Money coming in. People with huge bankrolls trade on these exchanges like ProfitX and Novig, and now OddsJam tracks when these big exchanges are getting huge market plays over on one side or the other, and it points it out to the point where it's also an arbitrage opportunity. It's a positive expected value opportunity, and now there's a huge amount of sharp money indicating an extremely profitable bet where you can have extreme confidence in the bets you're placing. So sharp money is something I'm super duper interested in. I want to make a video on it just for itself. I could get into it today, but I think I've talked too long at this point. And then quickly, I did want to mention that, I usually do DFS content, so they have DFS as well. If you go in here and you add, your DFS platforms that you're on, PrizePicks, Dabble, Underdog, whatever it might be, you're going to see the positive EV plays for this as well. So like this De Jong over 11.5 games won. This is a minus 146 average sportsbook odds, and it's available on PrizePicks right now. So you're also going to see a lot of value using this for DFS too. So that's going to do it for me in this one. Hopefully you have a better understanding of why people think sportsbooks are unbeatable really, and how we can actually get the edge that sportsbooks have for ourselves using profitable strategies like I showed today. If you want to check out OddsJam, use my link in the description down below. You're going to get a 7-day free trial to try out any of these tools, which is awesome. And then after that, it's going to be 25% off your first month as well. So pretty sweet deal there. I'm really excited to talk about this stuff, and I really want to talk about Sharp Money. It literally came out yesterday, so it's a brand new tool. I'm going to get accustomed to it so I can make a video for you guys to show you how powerful it is. Arbitrage, another thing I want to talk about a little bit. I just enjoy talking about this stuff, and I want to make more content. So again, if you like the thing, leave it a like, comment something down below, subscribe if you are new, all those good things. And we'll be back here for another video talking about, sports betting strategies that actually work, and hopefully helping you guys understand these complex terms and things that are really easier to understand than you might think. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.